Mega Ampharos. It has a great special attack stat, but it's not used a lot. The Pokemon is so slow that it has to be in Trick Room. Or does it? In this video I'm gonna explain why Mega Ampharos is not used as much. But it has got a decent bulk stat and a ridiculously high special attack stat. Let's first take a look at the actual stats. Ampharos has 90 HP, which is a decently rounded HP stat. Great for a Mega Pokemon, because the HP stat is the only thing that doesn't change in the Mega form. It gets access to a great defense and great special defense stats, and it has a ridiculously high special attack stat, one of the highest in the format. It loses actually a lot of base speed, and it is too low even for talent use, but it runs good in Trick Room. From what I can tell from the stats, it is a Trick Room sweeper. It has super good defenses, it is a super good special attacker, but it struggles outside of Trick Room. It can even have a slow pivot with Volt Switch if needed. So what are the struggles for Mega Ampharos? We are going over to the type and matchups. It has 6 resistances and 4 weaknesses. The weaknesses are common types in the meta, especially the Fairy type at the moment with Sylveon, Floette and Whimsicott. But the upside is Dragon is a great type against the Fire, Water, Grass core, because it resists all 3. Now what it's gonna do with this information? We can basically one-hit KO every Pokemon in the meta weak to electric type moves, such as Basculegion, Charizard, Aerodactyl, Corviknight, Talonflame, Pelipper and Politoed. It can one-hit KO a Garchomp with Dragon Pulse at 32 HP and 2 special defense. That's just barely a one-hit KO. So if they go for more special defense, then Garchomp will not get KO'd. Milotic is one of the only Pokemon to survive an attack from Mega Ampharos. A maximum special attack with Thunderbolt against a 32 HP and 2 special defense Milotic won't one-hit KO. And Milotic is one of the only exceptions in this format who can really survive that kind of attack. Because it's that bulky. But you want to get rid of these Milotics. Also, a lot of Pokemon who are weak to electric have a sash. Think of Aerodactyl who cannot one-hit KO'd. Pelipper, Talonflame can have a sash sometimes. And sometimes even Basculegion. And cannot one-shot Dragonite because of multi-skill. And that is also somewhat of a problem. It also struggles against most Fairy types. It cannot one-hit KO Floette or Sylveon, but they can one-hit KO Ampharos Mega in return. So that is really bad for Mega Ampharos, even in Trick Room, where you want to abuse the Trick Room for this mon. Now let's look at the abilities. Mold Breaker is a bit of a letdown, because Mold Breaker ignores the older Pokemon's ability, but there's not much moves and there's not much that can Mold Breaker do with Mega Ampharos. It even works against it, because if you want to discharge or parabolic charge with a Telepathy mon, it won't activate the telepathy, which is actually kind of bad. Static is decent for its base form, but you always want to go for the Mega. It lowers opponent's speed, but you do not want that in Trick Room on the switch in. It of course can have a chance to parry the opponent, but its speed stat is more important. You don't want all the Pokemon to outspeed in Trick Room. Also, if you like these kinds of videos, consider subscribing so it helps the channel grow. Now let's see if the movesets and items that Ampharos can run. Well, item is always the Mega Stone. We do not have to worry about that. There's no use and no reason to run regular Ampharos here. But the best move it can use are Thunderbolt, Dragon Pulse, Volt Switch and Parabolic Charge. In Champions it gets access to Parabolic Charge, which is actually pretty big, because it didn't get access before it. Well, Parabolic Charge heals 50% of the damage done, but it hits every opponent as a 65 power base move. So, that means, like I said with Telepathy, you have to run a ground type on it, then it can work. So we have some coverage moves in Dazzling Gleam, Power Gem, Electro Wrap if you want to run it outside of Trick Room, and even Eerie Impulse, which is kind of a ringing coverage move. It's also a niche move, but it lowers the special attack stat of the opponent by 2, which can be useful in some matchups. Now there are some niche moves. You can run Discharge, where you have a 30% chance to paralyze the opponent, and you don't want that if you are in Trick Room, because the opponent can be slower that turn. You also have Dragon Chair to boost the critical hit ratio by 1, and if you have a Dragon type you boost it by 2. This is only for your ally Pokemon. Content Guard to boost your defense by 3 stages, your Focus Blast, although I don't recommend it because of the accuracy, but it is there, and Thunder. Thunder you can run it with Pelipper or Politoed and then actually do more damage. And it actually one-shots the Milotics with Thunder, so that is actually something that you can run, but it's kind of niche because you are depending on the weather. So I have 3 builds that you can use. They are very similar to each other because they're all in Trick Room, but I will still share them. So this is my standard build that I used. This serves as a Trick Room sweeper, but with a slow pivot mode. So if you just need to pivot out to another Pokemon without taking damage on the Pokemon that you want to switch in, then Volt Switch is there for the slow pivot. And it does some decent damage as well because of the high special attack stat. Then we have build 2. I use this as well. You can run 1 speed or 2 speed, but acquired nature. This is really niche and a unique situation. Because I run this with the soak set. With Berry Bolt. With Berry Bolt you can soak everything and everything will one-hit KO with Thunderbolt and heal with Parabolic Charge. It is really good, and the ground types that you cannot hit, you will soak them and still Thunderbolt it and still hit it for super effective damage. So that is really good, and I think the soak set is really good. Also shout out to Mental Syndrome and John Luke VGC. They ran the soak set with Araquanid in the GC. I will link the video below. I got the idea from them. So thank you so much for getting this idea. Now let's move on to build number 3. And that is just another Trick Room build, but with Thunder, Dragapulse, Dazzling Gleam and Protect. This serves as a sweeper with Rain. Dazzling Gleam is just for the coverage, but Thunder hits as hard as possible and one-hit KOs Milotic this way. Now, let's go to the synergy with all the Pokemon. These are the Pokemons to use. For which you have Trick Room and has Fake Out support so you cannot get faked out. It is one of the best Trick Room settings in the format. Sinistcha, also a Trick Room Pokemon, plus Redirection. And a healer. You have also Berry Bolt and Araquanid for the soak spam to one-hit KO everything. And of course we have Pelipper or Politoed. This is just for the brain setup for Thunder. And you need Pokemon that covers for ground types. And also maybe a ground type itself, so you can get the Discharge and Parabolic Charge up without hitting your own Pokemon. Now this is my personal story. Now it was not hard to fit in a team. I knew I wanted it to Trick Room, but this Pokemon lacks the survivability. Can easily get one-hit KO'd by the types that are running around, even with the decent bulk it got. I had fun trying different sets, although it did not work out all the time. I had actually more success with the soak set than the actual most standard set, so that is something to keep in mind. It deals great damage, but it has no broken signature move or signature ability and a high hitting move over 100 base power with no drawbacks. I tested with build 1 and build 2. Build 3 I have not tested it, but I have theorized it and I think it can work as well. Also, another time shout out to John Luke VGC and Mental Syndrome for testing this team in the GC and sharing their replica code. You should go to John Luke VGC's channel to see his point of view and how he ran the team. Conclusion: it has super potential but not a real threat in the current meta. If someone has ideas to run this Pokemon otherwise, I will hear it in the comments below. I love to hear what you think. But what is confirmed, it is a Trick Room sweeper. I don't believe you can run this thing outside of Trick Room other than the slow pivot with Volt Switch. Otherwise, I don't think it's really good. And that was the video. What do you think of Mega Ampharos? Are you gonna run it? Leave it down in the comments below. And if you like these kinds of videos, consider subscribing so it helps the channel grow. We are almost at 500 subs and a sub will really help me to get to that goal. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more guys, there is a playlist on screen right now. And I will see you there. Have a lovely day and have a lovely team building session. For now, this was Robstar-Z and I say bye bye.